Welcome to Radio Express World News, presented by Vibha Ramesh, Los Angeles, United States. Several Sunday morning shows cornered defenders of the United States president and Republican officials with questions related to Trump underplaying the intensity of the virus. Recently, the truth about the president having intentionally played down the coronavirus in the early months of the pandemic was revealed by the journalist Bob Woodward. And reporters from various programs, including State of the Union on CNN, Meet the Press on NBC, and CBS program Face the Nation, have been aggressive with their interviews on the subject. Meanwhile, vaccine companies have not been transparent about their clinical trials, which in turn has instigated a spate of criticism from independent scientists and public health experts. In detail, AstraZeneca had not divulged information about the status of the patient that was the reason for their suspension of vaccine trial. Similarly, Pfizer, which is planning to expand its trial to include thousands more participants, did not give any specific details about the plan. As far as the pandemic goes in the United States, while most states have begun to show a decline in cases, the Midwest is showing a spike. Some of the states include North Dakota, South Dakota, Missouri, and Iowa. Once again, the streets of Belarus were swarmed with over 100,000 protesters on Sunday, and President Alexander Lukashenko's attempts to shatter the gathering failed. Demonstrators had thronged the Minsk as well as in other parts of the country, demanding the dethroning of the authoritarian president. This is the fifth consecutive week since the protests began last month, and there is no sign of the protesters giving up on their mission. If continuous rebellious acts are something to go by, then it's an embarrassment for Lukashenko, who is scheduled to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Moving on, a 3-week lockdown will come into effect in Israel as the government has issued strict restrictions at a national level. The decision came into effect because of a dramatic resurgence in coronavirus cases in the country. Further, the fear of gatherings during the Jewish month has led the cabinet to announce the shutdown starting Friday through till October 9th. Lockdown restrictions would comprise closing of schools and all shops excepting essential ones. Relaxing of the rules will be exercised only after careful consideration of the situation and a drop in infection rates at that time. Meanwhile, Britain records an alarming increase in single-day infections with 3,330 cases recorded on the third consecutive day. A day prior to Britain's record, England and Wales imposed more stringent restrictions. In other words, this is the first time since May that the UK is seeing such a sharp increase in infections. Said Professor Peter Openshaw to Sky News, "I think everyone is in agreement that we really need to act very quickly now in order to prevent this from growing exponentially." According to the Sunday Times, laboratories in Britain have a backlog of 185,000 swabs which are being sent to Europe to be processed. In another move, Ireland is supporting a proposal that recommends the adoption of shared rules on international travel restrictions. In the event of the measures getting approved, the nation's focus on quarantine will shift from reinforcing restrictions to testing. Over to India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi issued a strong message stating the parliament's indisputable support for the soldiers challenging Chinese aggression on the line of actual control. Quoting his words, "We stand with the soldiers braving difficult terrain on borders. Parliament in one voice will send a message to those soldiers manning our borders that we are with them." For the first time in over a year, National Conference President Farooq Abdullah attended the parliament in its monsoon session. With a single-day record of 92,071 cases on Monday, India surpassed the 48 lakh mark. This brings the total caseload to 4,846,428 cases and an overall death toll of 79,722. And in Japan, Yoshihide Suga is all set to replace Shinzo Abe as Japan's prime minister in the election by the ruling Liberal Democratic Party. Suga brings with him around 8 years as chief cabinet secretary and the administration's de facto second-in-command. Sources say that it will be a clean victory for Suga, who was assured of being approved as Prime Minister in the lower house of Parliament on Wednesday. A high number of cases and deaths is currently emerging from Ethiopia in Africa. This has spurred the need for large amounts of testing, for which the nation has partnered with a Chinese company to increase testing capacity across the country. Moreover, the country opened up a commercial test kit production facility presided over by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. Run by BGI Health Ethiopia, the facility will produce kits for both the local market and for export. Bringing you to the end of today's report, residents of South Korea can expect some respite in the form of relaxation of social distancing measures. Despite a triple-digit number of new infections, officials will be easing social distancing measures in metropolitan Seoul for the next 2 weeks. The easing would also include lifting the ban on on-site dining after 9 p.m. and reopening gyms and internet cafes. With that, we come to the end of this news bulletin. Thank you for joining us. Please stay tuned for the next program on Radio Express. To receive Radio Express English news and English programs in your WhatsApp, please send a WhatsApp message, English programs, to 90727 95547. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Radio Express. Thank you.